This team is on fire! They're sizzling thanks to this great new rink!
Hi, Lewis here. I'm writing a speech to convince people in my community that we need new athletic fields. For sports other than hockey, my speech is an example of rhetoric. Rhetoric is written or spoken language that people use to create meaning for a particular purpose. My purpose is to persuade my audience to support building new athletic fields. But rhetoric can also be used for other purposes, like to entertain or inspire. Let's look at some ways to craft and use rhetoric. First, a speaker or writer needs to choose a method to organize the information in a way that supports the purpose. I've chosen compare and contrast. That will help me persuade, I think. Athletes need functional athletic fields to play their sports and have spectators at events. So first, I'll tell why the old athletic field isn't functional. Then I'll draw a contrast with the proposed new fields. Now, I'll compare these ideas by identifying a similarity between them. This connection makes my message stronger. It helps my audience understand why the new fields are a good idea. After all, if we have to spend money and effort on athletic fields, why not spend it on new fields that we'll enjoy using? If I talked only about the new fields without comparing them to the old one, my point wouldn't be as strong. Now that I know how I will structure my speech, it's time to add some language and details using rhetorical devices. You can use rhetorical devices or techniques to make a point or influence audiences to agree with your point of view. Rhetorical devices include antithesis, paradox, symbols, personification, and many others. Antithesis is when you put two opposing ideas together to emphasize their difference. I could say, our athletes have the best support and the worst support. Notice the parallel construction? I use this to emphasize the point that my town has lots of sports fans, but few who support the new fields we need. Another technique is to use a paradox. You put together two ideas that seem to contradict each other, but also create a new idea. I could say, the more successful our athletes are, the more they're doomed to failure. Success and failure are opposites, but using them together makes audiences realize that winning games on old fields might make people think that new fields aren't necessary. Personification gives human qualities to non-human things. Personifying something helps the audience relate to it personally and care more about it. Aw, poor guy. And symbolism is using images to stand for words or ideas. It helps an audience picture and remember your point. For example, I can use a dark cloud to represent the situation now, and the sun to symbolize the positive changes new fields would bring. I think I've got it all now. Rhetorical devices help you get your audience's attention, make your point, and really make an impact.